Hey guys, what's going on? Gear and here. Today I'm going to be discussing a very interesting theory involving Ignia, the fire god dragon, that he was hinted to us not in episode 334, which was about mercphobia going out of control, but it was hinted to us all the way back at episode 72. Sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoyed the video. So what do we know about Fairy Tale Ignia besides of course that he is Igniel's true son, that he is the fire god dragon, and that he has immense powers? Well, we were first introduced to him when he saved Natsu from mercphobia's attack. He then lent some of his power to Natsu, which helped him defeat mercphobia, and that was how mercphobia was sealed. So no, we're not going to go too much into Ignia because that's going to be a separate video on its own, but we're going to be going into this insane theory that Ignia was hinted to us all the way back at episode 72. And why am I talking about that specific episode? Well, if you remember, or if you want to go back and watch it, it's about this, I'd say it's like a filler arc where Grey went undercover to uncover this secret plan of this crazy dragon lady. She created this bionic dragon that Natsu took control of, and of course Natsu then fused with the dragon, went on a rampage, but then of course was saved by Gadgil. That is something that is on its own, so that's just one of the things I wanted to discuss about episode 72. But the main thing that I want you guys to focus on is this one scene right here, this flashback that the crazy dragon lady, who is called Daphne, she has this flashback as a child that she saw this dragon big, soaring through the sky, and that was what inspired her to create the bionic dragon. So now you might be thinking, oh, that's probably one of the old dragons that, like Igniel, or maybe one of the other dragons that were in one of the other dragon slayers, or it might even be Acnologia. I know you all guys are thinking that. However, I'm here to debunk those theories, because firstly, if you see the structure of the dragon, you can see that it's got some holes in it, his wings are slightly teared up, so that does sort of match with Igniel's perspective, because his wings are like a little bit cut, but they don't have any holes in them, so because it doesn't look like he's been any battles besides the one of course he had versus Acnologia near his end. So to me, the structure of it is definitely Igniel. However, we learned later on in the future in Fairy Tail Final Series about the dragon's plan. Well, we first learned about it in the Tartarus arc, where Igniel explained that the dragons were sealed away inside the dragon slayers to create antibodies to stop the dragonification. Can't say that word. So that plan was a success, and what they also wanted to do was to defeat Acnologia in a time where Air Terrananos was in abundance, which they failed that mission, but then the Dragon Slayers later on in Fairy Tail Final Series completed it. So now we know that Igniel was sealed within Natsu. So now I had to do a little bit of research on my end, and I could see that the dragons were sealed inside the Dragon Slayers before they went through the Eclipse Portal. So if you don't know what the Eclipse Portal is, it was a portal that connected two ends of time, either the future or the past. Zerif and Igniel contacted Anna Heartfilia to create the Eclipse Portal on her side, and then Lucy's mother created the Eclipse Portal on her side so that the Dragon Slayers could go 400 years into the future and defeat Acnologia. So that was the dragon's plan, and that was the Eclipse Portal itself. So now that we know about the Eclipse Portal and that the Dragon Slayers already had the dragons within them before they went through the portal itself, who is this dragon that Daphne saw? If you think it's Acnologia, well, I'm straight away going to debunk that theory, because if you see Acnologia's wing structure, it's all like got these curves at the end, so, and it doesn't have any holes, because Acnologia is technically the strongest being at that time. No other being comes close to him, so it can't be Acnologia, because he wouldn't get that badly beaten in a battle. So what else do we know? Well, we were learned in Fairy Tail 100 Year Quest that there are 5 additional god dragons, dragons which fled Fiore and went on to other continents. So now that we know that there are actually technically other dragons involved, which are god dragons, and they had to flee Fiore so that they could get away from Agnologia. Well, now think about it this way. Ignia had a fight with Agnologia back when Agnologia was in his prime, and when he did, he suffered a very bad defeat and he fled the battle, and that would explain the damage to the wings that we saw in Daphne's flashback, and that would explain why the dragon was going away. So even though Daphne saw a dragon which she thought was majestic and was soaring through the sky, it was really Ignia fleeing from a battle versus Agnologia because he didn't want to get killed by him. So if you put that context into the fact that Ignia is that dragon, because you could see from the structure of the dragon itself, it is similar to Ignial, but it isn't Ignial because Ignial was sealed within Natsu before they went through the eclipse portal 400 years into the future. So now that I put that into your head, Fatal have hinted from episode 72 that Ignia was the one that was hinted to us all the way back at episode 72 and in Daphne's flashback. And if you want something else on top of that, well, the humanoid the bionic dragon that was created by Daphne, have you noticed in its core that it's got this little circle thing with little sort of tattoo markings around it? And if I were to show you this picture of Ignia in his human form, well, or even his dragon form, you could see that he's also got that similar sort of core, but it's not a core, it's actually a tattoo that he's put on himself that symbolizes the sun. So put those two together, and I know it's a little bit of a stretch, however the similarities between it, I could not ignore it. So I am thinking that the dragon she saw was Ignia. She used Ignia as a design to create that bionic dragon. And how did she then create the core? She created it using the tattoo that she saw on Ignia's body, and that was the key thing that helped her create the core of the bionic dragon. That's my theory. If you do agree with it, let me know in the comment section below, and if you have any other things that I might have missed out, or if you think that some of my theory is wrong, then let me know in the comments and we'll have a discussion, because I am adamant about Ignia being hinted to us all the way back in episode 72, and I do think that maybe Hiramashima didn't mean to do it, but if he did, that'd be one hell of a great foreshadow, because we did also learn all the way back near the beginning of Fatal about Fatal 100-year quest that took 100 years to complete. We learned all the way about that at the beginning of Fatal, so who couldn't say that Hiramashima put little trinkets of what he thought Fatal 100-year quest could look like? Because if you have seen my channel and you have seen my videos, you will know that I uploaded a video years ago discussing about a theory that Celine was also hinted back to us in the beginning of Fatal. So go check out that video if you want, and if you think this video, if I'm making sense or if I'm making not, let me know in the comments below and we'll have a discussion. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you made it this far in the video, thank you very much. I hope to have your continued support for my future videos. Take care and peace.